All right, this is this week's Sketch Weekly. I am not feeling it tonight. I am really not in the damn mood. My stomach's kind of bothering me, and I've been playing Saints Row 4 all day. Saints Row 4, the re-elected version, has been really surprisingly good, and I'm very happy with it, and I'm enjoying it very much. Because finally, after all these years, my Steam controller works with it. And that's fantastic. I quit playing it like a year and a half ago because I was tired of switching over to the clearly inferior Xbox controller. And now it works real good with the Steam controller, which is really nice, and I'm very happy with that. So, yeah. Anyway, do a little YouTube dance. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that bullshit. None of that stuff really makes a difference to the channel, honestly. It primarily makes a difference for you, not for me. And it makes a difference in that it tells YouTube what you do and don't want to see. Because that is what's really important. YouTube doesn't care about creators. It really doesn't. It cares about the audience. And well, what the hell? God. There we go. Let's grab my screen there. And we'll get that put in. And that is right. There we go. So we've got my we got my screen shared now. Anyway, let's get stuck in on some landscape stuff. So let's duplicate that color layer, and we'll call that ground. And we'll duplicate it. Oh no, don't delete it. Let's duplicate it again. Having duplicated it again, we'll call this foreground, and then we'll duplicate it one more time. And we'll call that background. Well, that makes perfect sense. And then on the color layer way back behind that, we will make the a sky. But anyway, on the background, I want to do something in a purplish color. Something kind of light, kind of bluish. That's funny, it doesn't look bluish. And we're going to just kind of... Let's use a much larger brush for this. We're just going to kind of rough in sort of a mountainous background back here. And now I will make that much smaller, and we'll carve back. We'll carve back that shape of the mountain and give it more form, like so. I'll come back to actual color and put that in there. So now we got like these mountains sitting in the back, and we'll grab a gradient. We'll use the Use a midday sky. And we'll go from the top on down to about there. Bip. No. I did that on the wrong layer. We'll do that right here. There we go. And there we have that. Honestly, I think the edges of these mountains don't look quite right, so let's carve that. Oh. Let's carve that down a bit and just kind of give it a softer look to it. Not quite as high, not quite as sharp. Honestly, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that the edges here are too they're too hard. Let's kind of give these a bit of maybe something a little. Just kind of fuzz them out a little bit. Not like overly. Just like a bit. So we just get them kind of fuzzy like. Kind of like that. Does that look right? I'm not sure how I like that. Anyway, move to our ground. This is going to be kind of bluish green and a little bit darker. And we're going to do this just kind of like so. That looks about right. Then we want to move this to a brighter green in the next foreground. We'll take it a little bit yellower, a little bit more saturated. Something right around here. And this will give kind of a feel there. And okay. Okay, so now we've got kind of these three layers. And this is sort of this is how I understand that you're supposed to construct landscapes. I'm not very good at it, and I don't really know what I'm doing. But yeah. So now that we've got this, we need a kind of lighter and softer and much less opaque ready. You know what? I want to control opacity with pen pressure. So let's do kind of a highlight there. Take that a little bit later, like so. I don't feel like that's the right thing. That's not the right way to do this. I think there's something else that I need to control. The stroke. Ink. Opacity blending mode. Brush size. Okay, that's fine. Color jitter. Aliasing brush shape. tip spraying effect, stroke, texture, watercolor edge, no, erase, no, correction, starting and ending, overflow. We've got hardness, thickness, angle, brush density. I don't know what exactly it is that I'm looking for. I feel like I should. Like I should have some kind of. I'm not liking how this is coming out, and I don't know whether this is technique or whether it's the setup of the brush. I've done some experimenting with custom brushes, but I don't like the download a brush concept very much. I think maybe a much larger brush, and then we kind of drop it down and do just kind of look at where the light would fall. And then the size of the brush would go down, and the brush would move toward yellow, and the lightness would come up, and then I feel like this is kind of the sort of thing that we're looking for. Maybe what I need is to blend this somewhat. Maybe if it's blended a bit, will it make it feel? Will that make it feel more reasonable, or does it just make it feel muddier and gross? It just makes it feel muddier and gross. Okay, let's back up through that blending process, and maybe if we back up all the way through, and we take a very large blender and just kind of make one swipe across that, and then we drop it down. We make a few more swipes, various places, and just continue sort of dropping it down. Just dropping the size of the blender to create sort of a. I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. I should really be using reference, but let's come over here to ground. We'll grab this and we'll go, okay, more saturated and darker. Let's kind of do a separate sort of background thing going on here. And then we'll blend that. This separate layer process is how is that really? I'm not liking it. I'm really not. I feel like there should be a process of breaking this down and making it work together, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what that process would be. Let's try to do something similar here. With the mountains. So if we do something along these lines, there, and then if we take this a little lighter, let's try to come up here. Mountains are just big rocks. So it's kind of sort of with the light coming down in this direction there. Kind of want to take that a little bit here. I mean, that's something. It looks better than what I had, I guess. Wonder if what I need to start with. Okay, let's try this from an entirely different sort of standpoint. We're going to start with our sky first. Take it down about there. And then we're going to put the... then we're going to do a kind of a deep brown. We're going to go, here's dirt. I'm just going to lay in the dirt here, and this should be a nice hard edge. So now that we've laid in the dirt, we can now go, all right, the dirt's laid in. And now that we've got the dirt laid in with a hard brush, we can now turn around and we can go, okay, now we're going to have some dark grass. We're going to have grass that comes in here, like so. Let's lock the transparency of this layer. No, locking the transparency is not going to do anything. Okay, so we need to magic wand that space right there. And we need to create a new layer. Actually, let's we'll switch that over. Now we'll duplicate this layer. We'll delete that. And now we'll take, actually, let's okay. Now from this copy here, we want to lock transparency, and now we go back to our brush. And this is kind of our dark grass. And you figure the grass is going to grow first on the area up here. And that's going to go down into the... Now let's back this up somewhat. And we will start from the standpoint of okay. We're going to start from the standpoint of first the grass grows up on the best parts of everything. We use a much softer brush. In fact, I'm going to go back to opacity on prem pressure. Oh, we've already got that. So, okay, so we'll get the highest area. Okay, there's grass on them. And just kind of envision what is the rest of the, where are the high points and low points of the ground. And we're going to paint in the high point. And we're going to paint around those. We're just going to fill in space, looking at the high points and the lower points. And just kind of get a feel for what's high and what's low. And now we're going to go up a little bit, and we're going to go, that's for a high point. High point there, and high point there. A high point over in this area. We're just kind of, we're painting the general contour of the land that we're working with. We just kind of drop the size down as we go. And if I drop the size down as I go, then that should give me a more reasonable. No, the highlights should be broader in the front. Should be broad highlights in front, and then finer highlights in the back. Because it's just basic perspective. The highlights would get smaller the farther you went back. So making the highlights smaller as you go back means that they need to get larger as you go forward. So we'd start up here, just kind of, and I don't like the look of that. I'm not happy with this at all. This is precisely the kind of thing that we need to have on here, though. Exactly the kind of content that matters. So So if I blend with a smaller and smaller brush as I go back, that has a certain feel to it. It's got something to it. It's better than nothing. What am I seeing and not seeing here? What is working well and what is not? Okay, let's come down here to the color part, color layer. We'll grab our magic wand and we'll go boom. Then we'll go boom. We'll grab those and we'll duplicate this again. Then we'll delete that. I'll hide that color copy. Okay, so working with this one here, we're going to go a new raster layer. What? Did it put the dialogue off in the other? It did. Okay. Yeah. New raster layer. It'll do that now and again. And now we'll take that and we'll make it a clipping layer. And we'll start with kind of a desaturated dark green. We'll work in a very large. Just kind of work in a darker color, a very dark color here. And then, top of this is our initial grass layer. Okay, and with that being our initial grass layer, we can now go a little bit closer to yellow, and we're going to go a little bit more saturated and lighter, and we're going to drop the size down. First, we're going to drop the size down up here. And there's kind of the contour of that. We'll drop that contour down. Side. We'll make it a little bit smaller to come forward. I think we need to keep this relatively large. Then we'll take it a little bit more saturated, but more in the green direction. let's blend back here, and blend back there in very broad strokes, and then we'll just kind of drop the size down. As we get closer, and I'm still really not very happy with that, but just kind of follow the imagined contour of the land here. What do I end up with? How does that end up? It does kind of begin to look, it has something of a shape to it. And now that it's got something of a shape to it, I can take this up a little bit, and I can take a brush and I can kind of emphasize that a little smaller. We'll sort of emphasize that. Here, over here, we want to take something down in this range so that there's a kind of fall off there on the land. Then we'll come back to a blender, just kind of lightly smooth that in, and just kind of go sort of along the top of everything. So let's take this a little bit more up here. We're going to take a more saturated green, maybe more yellowish green. What if I just kind of lay out the general feel, how the land is shaped? And I take that and blend it in. That coming by just kind of down there, and then we'll use a bridge here. There's a hard edge here. Give that some emphasis. Drop that down to a soft edge. Not the soft That was way too big. Blender. That's still too big a blender. Soften that out a little. And we're establishing contours here. This has some texture to it. I've got something here. I'm not happy with it. This is something, but I'm not sure how well it's going. I'm not sure how good it's going to come out. I'm just going to call that there. I'm just really not feeling it tonight. I did get a solid half hour plus in here. So that's something, and that's what's important, to actually get some practice in. I need to do some more looking into this. There's a concept here I'm not getting, and I'm frustrated, and I'm banging my head against the wall on it, and my eyes are irritated, and I've been sneezing and coughing all day. I'm just not feeling very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. Again, be sure you do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I will be back to Sketch Weekly again next Saturday. So okay, bye.